Hey guys, how's it going? Billy here once again, coming at you this time with a very, very cool, kind of a little bit overdue video, but I had to wait on one of these records. It's kind of a follow up to my Christmas video, which like I told you guys earlier, my wife and I did not exchange. We don't typically exchange Christmas gifts, but that's not to say that I didn't provide myself a little Merry Christmas to me gifting, so to speak. So basically the way this all started was, I guess, 3 or 4 months ago. David Michael had posted a video, his European trip, and he had gotten back from his European trip. And we're friends on Facebook, so I kind of had a hint or a clue as to what he got. His one of his big hauls, big pieces, big grail pieces, so to speak, from his European trip. But once he got home, of course, if you follow David Michael, Naz Nomad, you saw his video where he came home with a Black Sabbath Vertigo Swirl. First pressing, I think it's self-titled, I believe. So that got me kind of thinking. I mean, I've got huge Sabbath fan, obviously, but I've always kind of been intrigued and in love with that Vertigo Swirl label, and never really had jumped in to pick up any of those, especially Sabbath. And to me, kind of Sabbath is the king of the hill, the top of the crop, if you will, as far as Vertigo Swirls are concerned. So I kind of wanted to get myself something nice for Christmas, because I didn't end up getting anything for my my record of the month for December, which is no big deal. Working on something else. Got something else big in the works right now anyway, and that'll be I'll follow up with that with you guys probably first part of next week. But anyway, this has been like three months in the making. I knew I wanted to get nice copies of Sabbath stuff on the Vertigo Swirl. So I've been talking back and forth with a couple sellers on Discogs. Found a couple guys on eBay that we had been private messaging back and forth. You know, some deals just fell through. Other deals, they'd send me pictures. Excuse me, they would send me pictures, and they just, while the records were probably good and fair enough and priced fair, it wasn't. When you're spending this kind of money, I wanted to make sure that I had something, really good. Not to sound conceited or anything, but this is something that I've really wanted for a long time, and I wanted to make sure I was getting really top-notch stuff, and hopefully at a fair price as well. So with that being said, the Merry Christmas to me is right here, which I will show you now. So let's start off with self-titled. Get them out of these bags, so we cut back on this glare. But Black Sabbath, self-titled. This is all of these are first pressing, by the way. This is a first pressing Vertigo Swirl Italian. Just absolutely gorgeous. Man, I know I say absolutely gorgeous all the time. That seems to be my go-to phrase, but there you guys can see, beautiful looking record. So there's the jacket. The one thing that I'm kind of still a novice on is what came with what. I know various different pressings came with certain inner sleeves. Various different pressings came with this or that or the other. I'm not sure that the Italian pressings came with the Vertigo Swirl inner sleeve, but if they did, I will have to be on the hunt for a replacement inner sleeve, because it's just in a plain white inner sleeve. and these I haven't cleaned these properly, but they're all super clean. Aside from Volume 4, which I'll get to that in a minute, but this one, there's your side A with the the infamous swirl label, and side B. This one does have a name written on it, but that doesn't bother me whatsoever. The record plays beautifully. It's flawless. It sounds great. Like I said, this is a first pressing, first Italian pressing. What I did notice on first, a basic clean and play, and then of course I put it back in that paper sleeve, which I should have. When I deep clean, the way I work it, when I deep clean everything and give them a proper cleaning, I will put them in a polyline sleeve. But I just cleaned this real quick once over. Obviously played it. I wanted to hear it, and then just put it back in that bag. So that's why it's just a little bit dusty. But getting back to the play test. So I did the play test on that. Like I said, it is an Italian pressing. The one thing I noticed right off the bat is the volume level. Volume level was quite low compared to my its American, its U.S. counterpart. I don't have a German, but I do have a nice NIMS pressing on that, a Dutch pressing, and the Dutch pressing sounds unbelievable. As a matter of fact, I had 2 of those, and I sent one over to Mitch Wood a while back, and he agrees that the Dutch pressing sounds fantastic. David Michael did just find a Canadian, a true first press Canadian that he believes sounds as well, if not better, than the UK press or even that NIMS press. So there we have it. That's the first one, self-titled. So stoked to have that. Like I said, as far as sound quality, it's not one that I'm going to go to as far as listening. Just because of there are better copies. I have better pressings, better sounding pressings in my collection, I should say. I'm trying to spit all this out. But just for collectability's sake, super pumped to have that in the collection. So I know I just said super pumped. So Andy Cloudy Milder is going to get a nice rise out of that. So I'm sure I'll say pumped, super pumped, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Those are things that you hear over here. So this was the one I was waiting on that took the longest time to get here. So if you guys are aware, these pressings, the UK pressings are through the roof, especially when you start talking VG Plus, excellent, near mint stuff. The prices are through the roof, and I'm not gonna get into prices here, but I just didn't think I could swing for a first UK pressing. The UK pressings are always going to demand the most money, and I get that. I'm not so certain that they're going to be the best sounding pressings. So what I opted to go for, because in my experience, what I have in my collection, German pressings sound amazing. So what I ended up opting for is a near mint copy, first press German of Paranoid. It was about maybe even a little less than half the price of its UK counterpart. But what a beautiful, beautiful copy this is. I mean, just stunning. So there's something different than gorgeous. Stunning. Just awesome. So when I got this in the mail, I was just floored. Because when you buy something sight unseen, even though somebody sends you pictures, and you kind of get an idea, you don't really know until it gets here. The seller, this came from Russia. The seller that I got this from, super nice, great communicator. We sent emails back and forth throughout the whole process, and he had he had done a great job packaging this record. Thank God, because he sent it in an oversized mailer, because when it came in, one of the corners was crushed, and I was just, you know, fearful, obviously, that there was something wrong. But he left plenty of space. There was probably 1.5 to 2 inches on each side of the outside of the outer dimensions of the record that allowed for that box to be crushed and still didn't affect the corners on this record. So again, this one I am pretty sure came with a Vertigo Swirl inner, but it's been replaced with a polylined MoFi type style inner sleeve. This one here is as beautiful as the day it was pressed. So there's your side A. There's your label there. Here is your side B, and again, label there. I was mind blown. I was floored when I opened this. So couldn't wait to put it on and play test this thing just to hear, because I've probably got 5 different copies of Paranoid, because it's such an epic record. There again, put it on. So this is a first press German. Put it on. First thing I noticed right away, 2 things. The low end was a little bit hot, and the high end felt like it had been rolled off a little bit. And it's real simple, especially on this record, when you have War Pigs as the opening track. You know, the hi-hat part, it's when it almost sounds non-existent until you turn it up quite a ways, then you know that it's a little bit of a, there's something funny going on with the mix. So I immediately went back and decided, okay, it's time to A-B this stuff. As a matter of fact, I was talking with Bill Helmet Diggy about doing some ABs and things like that, and he's kind of been my go-to guy on this. So we've been talking back and forth. I've been telling him what was going on, what I was waiting for, and whatnot. And when I got it, I sent him a couple pictures, Mitch as well. But anyway, I started ABing this first German pressing with I have 2 different American pressings. I have a first press American and a later reissue American. Both first presses sounded the same. The first press American that I had the same noticeable flaws. I guess if you want to call them flaws, even though they're not flaws, it's just the way the record was pressed. But the same noticeable things, tendencies or trademarks, if you will. The bass was a little hot, and the high end was rolled off a little bit. So I wasn't concerned about that. I just know that that's just how it was. I've played I think it was I don't know what year it was a reissue, but it's the Warner Brothers reissue, 2014 maybe, the 2-disc version. And wow, I mean, I knew that obviously sounded great, but when you A/B it with a first press German and a first press U.S., obviously I don't have a U.K. to compare it to, but it was night and day. That 2014, I'm assuming it's a 2014 just off the top of my head, Warner Brothers 2LP remastered reissue, obviously, is night and day. Best sounding copy of Paranoid that I have out of the 6 or 7, 5 or 6 or 7 copies that I have, hands down, amazing. So either way, super stoked. I almost said super pumped there for you, Milder. Stoked to have that in the collection as well. Moving right along is third in this set, I guess you could say, is my favorite Sabbath record of all time. We have, this is a first press UK Master of Reality. It's in the box, you know, the laminated. It's a box type sleeve. You know, it's got a lid up top here. You know, but just gorgeous, beautiful, amazing. This was the first one that I sought out because being it is my favorite Sabbath record. I wanted to get that one first, so that was the first one that I did seek out, and I wanted to get a clean copy. So that is a first press UK on the Vertigo Swirl with the swirl inner. It is the I believe it's the inverted, because most of them are white. So this is the black side B label. So here is the side A. Again, it's just not super clean. I mean, the vinyl itself is beautiful. It's immaculate, but I just need to give it a proper cleaning and get it put in a nice new bag. But there you go. You see the label there. I mean, you can see. Bring it in close. I mean, just no spindle marks. It's just a beautiful, all-around, amazing copy. So the only drawback to this was it did not have the poster, the 6-panel poster that comes with the pressing. So I think the American, you know, the U.S. pressings and some of the others come with like maybe a 4-panel poster, but these and the Australian pressings, I believe, came with a 6-panel poster. So probably what I'm going to do maybe is keep my eyes peeled for maybe a lesser grade copy if I can find one for a reasonable amount. Find a lower grade copy of that with a poster included, or quite possibly, who knows? Maybe somebody will sell posters on eBay. You never know, man. You find everything. People are selling kidneys and shit on there. You know, not really, but they sell anything. Freaking Garbage Pail Kid cards and all that stuff. So I am going to kind of keep my eyes peeled for that, because just having a poster with that, in that condition that record is in, pretty much doubles the value of that record. So I am, almost said super stoked. I'm pumped, stoked, jammed, rammed. I'm fired up to have this in my collection. So that is that's the one that started it all. So I bought that from one seller, ended up buying the Paranoid from another seller, and then the self-titled I got from another seller, and that same seller that had that first press Italian self-titled had this first press German volume 4. I had said earlier I may this was one I was going to kind of elaborate on. It's not only because it's not as nice as the others. It's still nice. Don't get me wrong. It's still super nice. But it's solid VG, bordering on VG plus. I would say it's nice. I mean, it's got some wear, a little ding corner, but it's still beautiful. You open up the inside, it's all complete, and just nice. You know, I'm happy that I have this. At first, I was kind of bummed when I opened it because everything else was just so nice. I thought maybe that, you know, I would want to upgrade this possibly down the road, but who knows? I may not. Solid VG, bordering on VG plus. Great album, absolutely killer album. Does not have the swirl inner. Again, I know there's sellers that have some of those out there, so I may be looking for maybe some of those just to have them. Side A. I could stare at that label all day. It is, and when you put it on the table, wow. And then side B. So there is my Sabbath Swirly Christmas. I'm still going. There's 3 others that I'm going to have because I'm sick. I have the sickness like everybody else does. You know, the great thing about this vinyl resurgence, you know, and Brandon and I were really having an in-depth conversation on this last night, as a matter of fact. The great thing, just one of the great things about this vinyl resurgence, you know, I've really been collecting, not die-hard collecting, but I've really been collecting vinyl for 25, 30 years probably. I mean, I've always bought vinyl, like I was telling Brandon. Even when I was buying cassettes and CDs, I still bought vinyl. Did I go out and actively seek out things like that? No, absolutely not. I'd be lying if I told you that I did. However, I was always buying Sammy Hagar and Quiet Riot and Bob Seger, things that I loved, you know, Sabbath, Hendrix, whatever, just throwing it into the collection. But I wasn't seeking out top-notch, high-priority type things. And the thing about it also is, one of the great benefits about this vinyl resurgence is the kind of everything's kind of at your fingertips. You can pretty much get what you want if you're willing to look for it and spend the money. You know, there's been times in my life where I haven't been fortunate enough to really spend. I would have never been able to think about buying things like this. However, I've been blessed immensely through hard work, you know, dedication, a little bit of luck here and there. My wife and I, we both work hard, and we have good jobs, provide for the kids, and you know, make sure everything's taken care of first. And this is my only real hobby. I mean, I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't buy guitars anymore like I used to. And John Cap, you can attest to this, man. You buy guitars, guitars are expensive, man. You think this stuff here's expensive? That's not even one guitar. You know, that's less than half a guitar the typical guitars that I used to buy. But man, it's great. I'm blessed. I don't want you guys to think that I'm bragging or anything like that. I love sharing this stuff with you guys because I love getting stoked seeing guys share stuff that you're like, holy cow, man, I love seeing guys share great stuff. I love seeing guys share everyday stuff that you see too, because it's all good for the hobby, and it's kind of what we're all here for. But you know, that has always been my thing. Is that whether it was buying vinyl in dark, dank dungeons in the late '80s when guys were giving away vinyl, literally dumping vinyl. Or today, yesterday, going through stores, just digging with Brandon and talking with guys that are like-minded and share the same passion that you do. It's great. If you would have told me that 20 years ago that I would be with somebody that I would have been able to meet new friends through this video, through YouTube, and just through a common love that we share for music and vinyl records and cassettes or CDs or 8-track cassettes, I would have told you were crazy. So to wrap this all up, I hope you guys had a great Christmas. Those of you that were able to spend time with your family, your loved ones, I hope you enjoyed that. Maximize that to the fullest. because when it's all said and done, that's really all we have. All this stuff will be gone. You know, we can't take it with us. So enjoy it while you have it. You might as well. That's everybody always says, why do you spend so much money on that stuff? And well, A, it's my money. I can do with it what I want. And B, you can't take it with you, man. I want to enjoy it while I can. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope you guys had a great New Year's. And I wish you guys the best in 2018. What's in store for me in the next short period, short term, long term, 2018. Short term, I have a couple things I'm going to share with you guys, which is going to kind of touch base with my wish list record of the month. That's first and foremost. I'm going to get to that. I do have a What's Spinning update that I need to do. I'm overdue on a What's Spinning update over the last couple months here. And I am long overdue on an 8-track update. My 8-track collection has grown tremendously. I'm ashamed that I haven't paid it the attention that I really that it needs and deserves. But I've been spending so much time trying to get this music room in order, you know, through work and spending time with family and everything else. It's tough, man, really getting things done around here. Trust me, I'm preaching to the choir with you guys. I know. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. So I am so far behind. Long overdue 8-track update. And maybe finally that room tour. So those are things that are coming up in the near future here. So guys, again, thanks for always tuning in. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for subbing. We'll see you guys next time around. Take care. Peace.